Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome to DIY Art Blast. So today I'm gonna make a painting and I am using this canvas panel. I know I already draw something, I didn't like it, so I kind of paint over it with the white paint. So if you are new to my channel, make sure you give a big thumbs up if you like this video and also subscribe to my channel. And these are the color I'm gonna be using, and these are the brushes I'm gonna be using. So I always like to use the flat brush for the background, small brush for the little details, and one more round brush, the middle size, I guess. Alright, so I'm gonna use my flat brush first. So before I take any paint, I just like to dip it in water. Alright, so now here I'm gonna show you all the colors name that I'm using today. So this one right here is turquoise, orange, aqua, brown, mint green, and grass green, white, and I'm also using red. Alright, so now let's start painting. So first I grab a little bit of darker blue shade, the turquoise I believe, and now I'm gonna work on the sky first, and then I'm gonna add the ocean water down there. Alright, so I'm using just a very simple brush strokes here. I take a little paint and I'm just gonna start applying on top of my canvas, just left and right, and going very slow on the edges because I'm using a panel and I don't want to paint my table. So yeah. So I cover about like an inch from the top. Now I'm using this little lighter blue and I started applying right there, and I'm just gonna again cover another inch, and I'm also working slowly on that darker blue on the top so that both of these colors blend together. So here I don't have any much paint left on my brush, so now with that kind of a dry brush I'm gonna go over between those colors like that, and the more I go it's gonna blend more and it's gonna look something like this. Okay, so now I'm gonna take a little bit of white. Now when we mix the white and the blue together it becomes lighter blue, right? So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start applying this white, and as you can see it's gonna be slightly lighter than what we have on the top. And I'm not using any more blue here, I'm only gonna take a white because I already have enough blue on my brush. If you are not comfortable doing something like this, if you are also painting, you can always mix your paint on your plate, on your palette, like light and blue. You can also do that if you like. That will be also much easier, but I always like to do this way. And as I'm gonna come down, I'm just taking more and more white, and it's kind of gonna become more and more lighter blue. So okay, so now here I am gonna apply a little bit of white, just a little bit, and then I really like some kind of movement on my sky too, like some clouds or something. So I'm using my brush sideway and I'm gonna add some lines. So let me show you in a second. So something like this. And do you see I don't have any more paint left, so I'm just gonna blend it with the blue now. So I'm gonna do that maybe a couple more times until I don't see what I really like there. So that's what I'm gonna do, maybe a couple more times. So something like this too you can also do. When I'm painting a sky, I am not thinking a lot, I'm just kind of go with the flow. If I feel like it's too dark, I just apply white. If I feel like it's too light, I just apply blue. So when you're working on the sky, just go for it and apply whichever color you like. Actually, you know what, you can also apply a little bit of purple on the top of the sky if you want to make it more darker. But yeah, here I'm all done almost, and I thought I really want to apply some more darker color on top. So I kind of take a little bit of brown and the blue together, because when I was putting the paint on my plate, I kind of put the brown on the bottom and then didn't realize that I put brown and I put the blue on top. So that's why I have some brown here too on the sky. So this is actually what doing is, it's kind of adding some shadows too under the clouds, so if that makes sense. So I also like to apply kind of a little darker color too after I apply some white there. So I'm gonna add clouds after we are done with the whole sky, but I feel like I want to bring down this sky a little bit more down, so I'm just gonna add a little bit blue and a little bit white as I'm gonna come down. So yeah, I'm all done, and now I'm gonna clean my brush. Now I also want to ask you if you want me to paint something else. I know some of you say paint a pet. I am working on it. I will share that very soon. All right, so now let's work on this bottom area where I'm gonna add ocean water. So for that, I'm gonna start with the darker color here, and I kind of apply this kind of a line. Doesn't have to be straight, nothing perfect in nature, right? We don't have to add any straight line here. So I kind of apply a line there, and I'm gonna cover about an inch again, actually more than an inch. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep using my darker blue here. Now I'm making also a kind of a beach here. So what I am gonna do is I'm gonna create the shape where I wanna bring this water, I mean the end of this ocean, and and also some sand area. So I'm also gonna work on that too. So now I don't really wanted to make any straight line here, so that's why I am using that same color and trying to figure out like how much area I want to cover with this water and how much area I really want to keep it for the sand. So I kind of add this kind of a line here, and I'm not fast forwarding this video. This is my regular speed. Yeah, I'm trying not to do that anymore. All right, so now I am using a little bit of white now, and I'm kind of covering this bottom area with just white because I already have enough blue here. I really want to keep this area slightly a little lighter, and I'm just gonna keep applying more and more white and just going back and forth, and then we're gonna start adding some waves. Alright, so that's all I'm gonna do for now. I'm gonna let this maybe a little dry, and now I'm gonna work on the mountain, I mean a nice big hill. Okay, so for that I'm gonna use this middle round brush. I always like to say I am not gonna tell you the size of the brush I'm using because when I'm working on the bigger canvas I use bigger brushes. When I'm working on smaller canvas I use smaller brushes. So whatever canvas you are working on, and try using the brush that you are comfortable with, I guess. Alright, so here I'm using this darker grass green color, and all I'm gonna do is like dab and create that the shape of those two mountain that I'm adding in the center. So something like this, and then I'm just gonna cover the whole thing with the same color. And for that I'm just using I'm just kind of applying. Okay, so now I'm gonna start adding some kind of a texture here. So I am using that same color, and I started applying on the bottom of those mountains. So something like this time I'm kind of going on those mountain with a little more paint on my brush, and I'm just kind of dab on top. Alright, so on the tip of the mountain I'm gonna use a lighter color. So for that I'm gonna clean my brush, and I'm gonna grab a mint green color. So if you don't have these colors, you can also mix your paint using your regular green, yellow, and the white. Alright, so yeah, something like this. I'm just gonna apply a little touch of lighter green here, and I really want to make the tip of my mountain more lighter than this one. So I am gonna mix the green and the white together, and I'm just gonna apply a little bit on tip, but I'll show that in a second. First I'm gonna apply a little darker green. So what I am gonna do is mix green and the brown together to make it slightly more darker green here. So here again I'm gonna take a little green and a little bit of brown here. So mix your paint little by little. As you go you can make more. So I think I need more brown here, so I'm gonna mix it more here. So you can see a little difference here. This green is kind of darker, and the next to that green is the regular green. So yeah, now I'm gonna use this color to make the bottom of those mountain more kind of a little darker, and you can also say like it's a shadow. So yeah, something like this. I'm just gonna apply this tiny little dot like that, dab again, and then make the bottom of those mountain more darker. Okay, so now I'm using that same green, dark green, and applying this like that on the water areas for the reflection. So something like this, I'm very lightly touching my canvas. If you feel like you apply too much, you can use your finger and just kind of rub it over to make it lighter. But this is all I'm gonna do, and I am gonna use my bigger brush now to make it more better, I guess. So make sure you don't have any water if you are doing this. Make sure all the bristles are separated, and go over those brush strokes like that. Magic, right? Just go over maybe just couple times, not too many times. And if you are still not happy, just let it dry and do that one more time. Okay, so now I am gonna use my bigger brush again, and I'm gonna take a little bit of white paint and apply this kind of a little touch of white on those mountain area too. I mean the reflection area, and also on this area on the water like that. Now do you see how I'm kind of making those kind of little curve there, because I really wanted that area to look more like that, because the shape of that, as you can see the little curve near that sand. So I really wanted to follow that, and kind of did that. Alright, so now I'm gonna add the sand here. So I am almost out of this orange. I need more orange. Get me some more orange, please. Okay, so this is what I have, and if you have a nice orange, just mix your orange, brown, and the white together to create that nice sand color. And if you don't have orange, you can mix red, yellow, and white together. Alright, so now I'm gonna make that nice sand color here with the brown, white, and the orange. So now this is completely up to you how dark, how light you like this. I started with the very lighter color here, and then I'm gonna apply maybe a little bit more orange later. So I'm just gonna cover the bottom, and I'm also gonna apply this on the water area too a little bit. Alright, so now I can start adding the foam on the swirl line. So for that, I am using my big brush, and I am making sure I don't have too much paint, too much water. So I'm gonna take a little white paint, and all I'm gonna do is figure out where I'm gonna add this kind of a dot. Again, this is my regular speed, I'm not fast forwarding this video. So I'm just gonna dab like that and create that line, so something like this. And I'm just gonna keep making more around this line, so almost look like it's kind of foam. So yeah, and the only trick is not to take too much paint here, and also water. So yeah, that's it. And I also did the same thing with a little bit of blue here. So I'm not going everywhere, just maybe on some area, because I also wanted to make the area also kind of a, you know, a little bit of blue, especially on the sandy area. Alright, so that's all I'm gonna do, because I'm not gonna spend a lot of time here, because I'm gonna add some flowers there. So you're not gonna see anything there anyway. So now I'm gonna work on let's say clouds. So for that, I'm gonna use my middle brush, and I am not using any water for this part, just the white paint. Okay, so let me show you couple of the clouds I'm doing here. So I'm taking a little paint, tiny bit of paint on tip of my brush, and I'm just making random lines, dots, something like that, and going over one more time and under the clouds. So that's all I'm gonna do. Again, take a little paint, let me show you a little bit more paint, and add this kind of line, go back and forth, up and down, and here I'm all done. Now I'm starting with the very like, as you can see, my clouds are very light here, but I will go over those clouds one more time if I want to make it more like, you know, white. So I'm also adding very random everywhere on the sky, something like that. Yeah. Alright, so yeah, that's all I guess I'm doing for now. Now I'm gonna go back on that mountain and I'm just adding a little bit of white there. So since my green is still kind of wet, I was waiting for it to dry, but it's taking forever because remember we use a lot of paint there. So I'm just using a little bit of white and adding those dots and go over those dots one more time, just like you did before. Dab 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 with the green. I'm doing the same thing with the white. Alright, so now let's move on to the next part, which is adding some flowers. Okay, so for that I am gonna use this yellow. Now I didn't show you this earlier, but I am gonna use a little bit of yellow here too. And this one is slightly a little darker yellow, kind of a little orangey side. And I'm gonna add the center of the flower first. So I'm gonna add like 2 flowers here. So one is gonna come right here. So let's say maybe the center is gonna come right maybe here. Okay, so now I'm gonna use my red and I'm gonna create the shape I wanna make of the petal. So something like this. I'm just starting with the edges and adding the outline of my flower petal. So yeah, and after I'm done, I'm just kind of feeling like that inside. And please don't ask me what flower it is. I have no idea. I just love flowers, so I am just gonna make the shape I can think of, I guess. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep adding more and more petals here, and as much as like I have space here, and I'm just gonna fill everything inside as I'm going. Alright, so all done with this one flower. Now I'm gonna go with a little bit more red on all of the edges of these petals, just like this, just one time, just because I feel like I want to make the edges more darker than the center area. And after I'm done, I'm gonna do the same thing with my second flower. So let me ask you something. What other painting, what do you want me to paint next time? Because I know lately I am not painting a lot. I am working on the DIY project and something, so I didn't get really chance to paint like in last couple of weeks. So let me know what you think, what you want to try painting. I can try something new, so let me know that too. All right, so thank you so much guys for supporting all my videos. I really appreciate you guys. It means a lot to me. And don't forget to share if you make something on my social media, on my Instagram or maybe Facebook if you are using I don't use Facebook anymore, but yeah, I use Instagram and TikTok a lot. So yeah. Alright, so I'm gonna work on this one flower and then I'm gonna add the center of the flower. Okay, so now I'm gonna make a nice light pink shade. So for that I already have enough red, and I'm just mixing it with the white here, and I'm really making it nice and lighter pink here. Alright, I need more paint, and again I'm just gonna make this pink nice and light pink. And for this actually I'm gonna be using my smallest brush, the tiniest brush, and I'm just gonna take like a little bit of on tip of my brush, and then I'm just gonna add some lines on my petals. So something like this, just maybe go up and down like that and add this kind of lines. Okay, so I think I'm all done with this one, and now I'm gonna add some white on the edges of this petal. So for that, I clean my brush and I'm gonna take a little white, and I'm just kind of following the shape of this petal that I already have, and just adding this kind of a, you know, little line, but kind of a little bumpy line. So yeah, something like this, and I'm gonna do this to my all the petals and both flowers. I think this is already looking very pretty, and I really like it. Okay, so now I'm gonna add the center of the flower, and for that I wasn't sure which color I'm gonna use it, so I thought let me try using a little bit of red first, and then also add some more lines like that. So yeah, I am using this red and also a little bit of brown. So yeah, I'm fast forwarding this part you guys. I know it's gonna be very long video, but again I'm gonna do the same thing with a little bit of brown too, because I want to make that area more kind of a, you know, better I guess flower. So yeah, and almost done. Now I'm gonna add the center of the flower, and for that I'm just using this yellow color, this darker orangey yellow that I have here, and just taking that bigger glob of that paint and adding that just in the center like that. Now I don't really like any perfect circle, because especially for this kind of painting, so I'm gonna go on the edges and kind of, you know, dab around that edges so that it's not perfect circle, if that makes sense. So something like that. And I also am adding a little bit of white on just one side of that center of the flower. Okay, so now I'm gonna add some leaves, and for that I'm gonna use this grass green color I have, and I'm adding these leaves like a little differently. So just like I add this flowers pattern, I'm just gonna do the same thing, but wherever I feel like I want to add these leaves, I have space, I guess, I am adding this kind of leaves here. And I'm also just gonna kind of add random lines, like, you know, some other stems coming out around these flowers, something like this. Okay. And I also am adding little touch of light green here on all of these leaves here, just to highlight just some of those leaves. All right, so remember I said I'm gonna go back on those clouds and make it more white. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I am gonna go back, add a little bit of more white like that, and make it more brighter, bigger, I guess, so something like that. So a couple more things I'm gonna do here. So first I'm gonna add some birds here, so almost like a V shape, and for this I'm using my tiny brush. So something like this, I'm just gonna add more birds, tiny little bird flying. And just like I said, it's really hard for me to stop, so I am gonna go back on that white area and add more lines on that water. So yeah, something like this. I'm just gonna add some more lines like that. Alright, so I think I feel like I was done, and it is really looking good already. So but then I changed my mind, and I am also gonna add something else here. But what do you think so far? Now you can stop here, or you can do what I'm gonna do next, which is adding some branches and some flowers. So for that I'm using my small brush and just grass green, darker green here, and adding a nice big branch like that, and some branch coming from that branch, and more branch and more branch. So something like this. I am gonna go all the way to the top of this canvas, and then I'm gonna start adding some flowers. So yeah, for these flowers I'm using all the same colors that I use for the other flowers: pink, red, orange, and I'm also gonna use a little bit of brown too, just for the shadow part. So yeah, I don't know what you think about this painting. I really like it. I'm just gonna fast forward this part because all I'm doing is adding some, like, you know, all I'm doing is just stamping this brush that I have here. So, and that's gonna create the shape of this flowers. All right, so again, what do you think this place is? Anyone knows? I wanna go there. I need a break. I wanna go on vacation somewhere. All right, so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have fun painting with me. And if you do, make sure you give a big thumbs up, and also subscribe to my channel, and let me know if you want what you want me to paint next time. Like I said, I'm working on the pad, and I'm gonna show you very soon. Just in case if you have any pad, you can also paint that with the very easy simple steps. But I'm all done with this painting. Again, what you think, let me know. And I hope you guys find this painting very easy, and hope you have fun too. Alright, so this is where I was painting. So this is my dining table, and look at the mess, the paint, and this is how I record. And yeah, I really like this painting. Again, thank you guys for the support and for watching my video. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time whenever I paint again. And you can also paint with me if you like. All right, so thank you so much, guys, and I will see you next time for maybe another painting or any DIY. All right, take care. Bye.